month ago, I came here and then showed you how we were guys planting soybean and how other soybean has grown. And today guys, we are back in our field over here, showing you guys how the soybean is actually doing. For some of you who may not know, soybean is a source of protein in the poultry feeds. So as we all know, protein is really needed in the poultry feeds. So soybean is one of the sources, and this time round we have decided to plant soybean so that we can use them to feed our birds, meaning that we won't be spending much money on buying, sources of proteins when it comes to the mixing of our poultry feed. So let me guys take you around, and then you see how the soybean is actually doing. And so this section over here that you guys are seeing, and by the way, this is the tent where the guys normally stay when they come to work over here, and this is where they normally cook. You can take a look. So like I was saying, this section over here, you can see that the soybean is just small, I think it's maybe 2 weeks or so. In here, this is where we first planted our soybean when the rain has just come, but unfortunately, this season wasn't all that good. We had rains, sunshine, all mixed together. It wasn't as expected that when the rain comes, it would be continuous. We planted soybean in here for the first time, and unfortunately, most of them died. And the survivors, you can take a look at that. We have some of the survivors, and which are currently putting now their pods. I think they are called pods. You can take a look, guys. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, these are the pods. So these are the survivors which actually survived the sunshine, and then we had to spare them and then plant another soybean, which is now this one over here, which you guys are seeing in a small stage. But otherwise, if it wasn't of sunshine, we were going to be very fine. I think by the end of this month. So you can guys take a look that it is actually coming up very nicely. So basically, after we guys planted this, we thought that it's actually wise for us to again plant another section, and we actually planted this over here, which you guys are seeing a little bit bigger than these ones that I've showed you. Let me first try to look. I think they are in a flowering stage as well. Yeah, sure. Let's try to see. I don't know how the land is over here, because when you try to look at this area over here, the soybean has grown very tall, but other sections, they are just small. So let's first try to look if they have started putting their pods. Hell no, still at the flowering stage. So let's try to walk around, guys. It's actually really important, really important when you're a poultry farmer out there and you really want to keep birds, or at one time you may think of keeping birds. One thing that you should know is that when it comes to poultry farming, poultry feeds actually takes the lion's share in the total cost of production, normally ranging from 60% to up to 85%, guys. So the moment you mess up with the poultry feeds, automatically you won't get any money at the end, because the feeds would have taken much of the money. Yeah, so we must be very careful, very keen when it comes to the poultry feeds. That's why some of us are now resorting to actually planting soybean, so that at the end we can use that soybean to feed our birds. Or if it is hard, you can also plant maize, because the maize will act as the energy giving foods to the birds, and then the soybean is of course for building up their body. So I think this is the last soybean that we actually planted, guys. This is the end. You can take a look. The entire of this is all soybean. So in here, these are, we call them frames. I don't know how they call them in hectares, but these are 3 frames, and that this is what we planted the last in this garden over here. can take a look that these ones are similar to the other ones that I first showed you guys. So let me first try to, you know, move around. So like I was saying, we want to be able to, you know, spend much as we will be spending money on other sources of feeds. We would be having soybean, or if, because soybean also has some, you know, there is some hidden things in soybean. Before giving it to the birds, you must first of all roast the soybean before giving it to your birds. You don't give raw soybean to your birds. The moment you give raw soybean to your birds, it is toxic, you know. It is not good for the birds. So that will also be another problem. So with this soybean, if we can sell it and then if we can actually use it and then buy the concentrates, I think that would be something good, besides, you know, using it as feed to the birds. This garden over here is, let's try to plug this weed over here. Soybean is not good with the weeds. I need to get some 2 or 3 people to come and then, you know, remove the grasses or the weeds which have now surpassed the soybean. But obviously the garden is just perfect, really perfect. It was actually, well, I think not even a week ago, so it is still just normal, really normal. And guys, and if this is the first time on the channel, my name is Jacob and I'm a passionate poultry farmer. So this is our soybean garden, and hopefully after a month, I think with some weeks, we will be actually harvesting this one, and I will actually show you how it's going to come out, and basically even show you how much I spent in here so that you guys can know. And maybe if at one time you want to invest your money in planting soybean, you would be, you know, well versed with what it can come out and then the expenses as well. Like always, see you in my next video. Bye.